Thank you, Dr. Tim. You have a good weekend. Awesome conversation going on. So I hope that, Susan, if you want to continue, Michael is already with us. I'll welcome everybody first to the second hour of Mindshifters Radio. Today's Friday, April the 23rd, 2021, and our call-in number is 563-999-3581, and press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. Susan, I'm going to unmute you again, and welcome, Michael. Michael, I hear you talking through the wall, but not through your speaker.
Oh, the old mute challenge, yes. My apology. Welcome, everybody. Delighted that you're with us, young lady. How can we support you?
I'm not
Sounds
sure.
like you had a
Dr.
pretty good,
Tim
intense conversation going with Dr. Tim.
Yeah. It's hard to admit this because it seems so self-centered and everything. But
Breathing with you.
He has suggested many times that when we're upset about something, we do what this spiritual director, writer, person, Cynthia, I said the name wrong, and I've been saying it wrong for a long time, Cynthia Bujolt or Bourgeot or something. And he corrected me, and it's gone right out of my head again. She says, Cynthia, sweetheart, she puts her hand on her heart and says, Cynthia, sweetheart, you're upset. Take a breath. And when I hear that, I think, I don't do that. I won't do that. I can't do that.
Because?
Call myself.
I mean, it sounds like
call
brilliant
myself
advice.
Sweetheart? Yeah. Call
Yeah.
myself sweetheart.
How cool would that be? Actually, cherish yourself.
Right. And so Tim Hayes was talking about a tribe. It was something in the I Ching, and it's in a book that's by Alan Cohen that is sort of an intuitive interpretation of the I Ching, as far as I understand it, where he talks about a tribe where when a mother is pregnant, I can't even talk about it without crying about it. It's so gorgeous.
Well, let's cry. Let's go for it.
Let
it all hang out, baby.
She and her partner, her husband, go out into the wilderness, and they wait. And they wait until that song is heard, and then they go home, and they teach it to the tribe. And when the baby arrives, the tribe sings that song to the baby.
Talk about being honored, eh?
It's so gorgeous. And then if the child, at various times when the child is initiated into adulthood or there's some other big thing, they sing the child the song. And if the child ever does something wrong, they sing to the child. They sing the child's song. And I just think that's the most beautiful story I ever heard.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's powerful. And it sounds like you're processing all the grief around never having been recognized for your song and your being.
I think that's why I became a composer. I wrote a song once, and I said to my son, this is your song. And he always says when he meets someone he really cares about, he says, she has a song. That's what he says. He said that to me since he was a teenager. He says, Mom, I really love her, and she has a song.
Sweet.
Isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, so it really got me going, and the work you've been doing with us in the with that Power Person worksheet, I'm telling you, we're not going to get through that for a long time. You can, you're going to hope for that, but you know, I feel as if I am a walking example of my Power Persons. So much of me is my power people doing their things.
So guess what?
What?
Everybody you've ever observed everybody is doing that.
Yeah.
Until that power person dynamic is discovered and worked through, that's what runs people's lives. And of course, the people who are in the most trouble are the ones who say, well, I never really had a power person. There was never any of that for me.
Right.
So the power person dynamic was denial for that person. And the denial, of course, leads us into dissociation and hiding from ourselves. So I'm here to hold the space for you to process all that grief.
You know what's weird, too, is my mom she had a wonderful personality and was a very beautiful woman. And she had a wonderful way with people. And she always was kind and cheerful to people, considerate and thoughtful to people. And some of that, I mean, it was all true of her. She wasn't lying. But on the other hand, this is where the power person dynamic gets very confusing. It's like doing the right thing for the wrong reason. She did a lot of that out of fear. Her sweetness, her friendliness, her giggle that she did when she met a new person or saw someone at a distance, she would have this little giggle. And I find myself doing it. And I say, will you stop that? I tell myself, that is not you. That's your mother doing that because she was uneasy. She was uncomfortable with someone new approaching her. You know, it's just so extensive. Even the good behaviors, so many of them were done for not healthy reasons, but they weren't bad things. And they put people at ease. So I have trouble sorting out this stuff.
So don't sort it out.
Okay. And
because sorting it out is just another way of figuring it out. It's just another way of figuring it out. Remember, the number one solution is if I could just figure this out. You can't figure it out with your heart.
Yeah.
But you can forgive it.
Oh, I think so. It's like I'm just looking at it with total amazement. But, Michael, I have a suggestion or a thought. I feel like Magda and I are on the same. She has suggestions and I have suggestions, and I hope you don't mind, but you asked.
All suggestions absolutely welcomed. You don't ever have to apologize for that again. You could let go of that. You could just throw out your suggestions. And, if they work, I'll work them. If they don't, I'll say thank you.
Okay. My thought is that the Power Person worksheet is mammoth in itself.
Yes,
and
it is.
The idea of using the material you learn from doing the Power Person worksheet on a present-day upset person, situation, or thing, those, I think, should remain two separate things. We got all fouled up. I thought, who am I doing this on? Is this my power person, or is this the person in my life who I'm fussing about? And I would go back and forth and back and forth. And if it could be built in somehow that what you learn from doing this deep, deep detail power person thing will show you how to do a 7-step worksheet with a present-day upset or not present-day, whatever it happens to be, and not put them together in that one big worksheet. That's a thought.
Okay. Well, I will look at that thought, and, I've clarified much of where the confusion came in, and so we'll see how it unfolds for the next version. And, again, we're only at version 5, and the Y worksheet is at version 3000 and who knows what plus. So we might have a few more additions to go before we get it really tweaked and where it really works. Right.
Well, and if you've clarified it in a way that makes it clear, that would be a solution to that. That was my solution to the problem. But good. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will.
So I don't know what's going on, but my whole body is vibrating, Michael.
You are in process, young lady. That's awesome. So I breathe with you. Let's just take a second and if everybody in the community is listening, would just tune in to Susan's energy and breathe. Just connect your breath in. Susan, this has opened up a major piece of work, obviously.
One of the entryways into this piece of work is the fact that I am aging, and I know a lot of us are getting older, and you know, it was hard enough when we were children and teens, and when we were children and teens, we had no idea most of the time how beautiful we were, how wonderful we were. We had no idea.
Miraculous.
All the way along, we beat up on ourselves if we did. I mean, I did that, and I think a lot of us in our culture do that. Worse now because of the internet, Instagram, Facebook, we're all seeing happy people grinning and showing wonderful meals and happy families, and we think, but I haven't been able to get past it. And so it's very hard to do the commitment and look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And it all seems related to this song.
So how did it feel when your power person told you were funny looking and unacceptable?
My mom never did that. She never did that. But she did hit us. And so I know I just felt unacceptable, sort of basically unacceptable. But she often would say we're beautiful. I just didn't believe her. I thought, that's not the deepest truth about me, Mom. And we both know it.
So the first thought that comes is you might want to do a worksheet or two as though you were your mother around her relationship with you. Do it as her toward you.
Okay. All right.
And see what that uncovers.
Okay.
And I suspect that
I will.
Doing worksheets where for yourself you cancel the need to be and all the list of, what you wanted to be, that you start letting loose of that so that you make a space for. I look in the mirror and I go, wow, look at this miracle that God created. How awesome. And that's the only thing in your file, left in your file on you.
Wow. My mom...
Because we live in a culture that purposely put debilitating, damnable thoughts into our minds about ourselves. It's kind of like one of the thrusts of the culture. And it's a way that kings learned to keep control of people. And that just comes right down the line. If you get too big for your britches, I'll just pull that chain of insecurity and self-deprecation, and you'll jump right back in line.
Wow.
And so I support you letting go of those things, because none of those messages are true about you or anybody else. I mean, I think virtually everybody, and I say this from my own personal experience and from working with a lot of people, I think everybody looks in the mirror and goes, what a funny face.
Yeah.
So,
my mom...
Well, before you tell me about Mom, so my suggestion is sneak up on yourself.
What?
Rather than going standing, sneak up on yourself.
Okay.
Rather than standing and going looking at yourself in the mirror, just walk by the mirror and give yourself a casual glance as though you're looking at someone else. And notice how different you look than when you are resonating that file of false perceptions about self.
I've done that, I've done that. I know just what you mean. I think that's not so bad. And then I make a list of excuses. Well, I'm standing far away. The mirror, I'm walking by the mirror. They can't really see. And I'm moving and all sorts of excuses. But yeah, I've had that experience.
So that's a more accurate perception about who you are in terms of physiological appearance than when you resonate in the file on me. And now I'm looking through all this garbage that I carry about me, and I'm projecting that all into the image in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
And begin to work toward, actually, that's kind of a cute smile. I like that. And let yourself breathe with it instead of making excuses, and let yourself breathe with it and go, gee, I have a cute smile. I've got a picture of you and Tim on my phone, and I showed it to Jeanie the other day, and Jeanie's comment was, wow, Susan's really beautiful.
Oh, my God. What picture was that?
It was a picture of you guys. It looks like maybe around the time you got married.
Is it a black and white picture? Because I look good.
It's a black and white. Too. That's the one.
Yeah.
Say again?
I look back and I think, wow, yeah, we were pretty cute. Tim was massively handsome.
You were beautiful.
Down, crazy handsome. Oh. Yeah.
So
well, we often look back and we think,
nothing's changed. I mean, if you've ever seen a person who's 70 and gone, wow, they're really beautiful, nothing has changed about you. You're just interjecting these false messages into the construct that you make about yourself. And it's been programmed by authorities for eons in our bloodline, so you came by it honestly, and I support you for giving it.
My mother was very beautiful, and she spent a lot of time at her boudoir first thing in the morning, plucking her eyebrows, putting on makeup. And she had bottles and pencils and brushes, and I was fascinated by all that. And then when she was 60, she got a facelift, and she told my dad she wanted to do that, and he was kind of horrified, but he said, well, sure. I mean, my dad was this gentle man, and he said, sure, if you want. It was expensive, and they didn't have a lot of money. And she did that, and then she had another one later, and eye lifts later. And by the time I was taking care of her, she was in her late 80s and into her 90s, I saw what that face looked like. There were scars.
Breathe.
And I felt so badly that she felt she had to do that.
Oh.
She didn't know. She was beautiful.
It's a family tradition.
Yeah, and she didn't want any of us to know. She hid it from us, but I said one day, Mom, fess up. I know. And she said, well, I don't want to talk about it. She was ashamed.
And prior to that, she had been on medication for about a year and came off of it when she started to do this work. And I really learned a very powerful lesson from...
Yeah.
Notice that you're doing exactly that. No, you haven't gotten a knife put to your face, but you got all the stuff you inherited and that she modeled about why you're not good enough. And there's something wrong with your face or your body or your mind, and just notice you inherited it and it's played out, and now it's time to forgive it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Time to be done with it.
Okay.
Good breath. I'm breathing with you.
Thanks. What does it mean when there's all this energy in your body that's just vibrating?
You're in process. You've opened the files and the energy's moving. It's called release. It's called process. And I just sent you a song to listen to.
Okay, thanks.
So you are in big time process. And what an awesome place to be.
Oh, yeah, I got
and
it.
I support you to continue breathing. If it's in reach, or when we finish the show, I would suggest you go put your hand in the abdomen and breathe, and let all this energy that's moving go to the next level of process.
I don't really know what that would be. I suppose nobody does, so.
You don't have to figure it out. All you need to do is breathe and let it move.
You know what just fell off my shelf? A book.
What?
That says The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates.
Ah,
isn't that amazing?
Interesting.
It's like a miracle.
Talk about
like
messages.
A word. Isn't that great?
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Michael.
Honored, and delighted. And if you go back and listen to this, which I would suggest you do, you will notice that your opening words in the conversation were, when we're upset about something. And there's some affirmation from the cat.
Yeah. Just got up in my lap.
And notice that you started a conversation about, I'm upset about something, and you know what the previous conversation was, and it's something out there. And notice what you just went into has nothing to do with what's out there, and nothing to do with what happened, and nothing to do with that story about the song, except that it triggered content that you're ready to heal.
Right.
And, it's a wonderful, not Dr. Feelgood place, but it's a wonderful place to be.
How wonderful that book fell off this pile of books right then, all by itself. What?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think it was all by itself.
That's one of those miracles. Yeah, okay.
It's called The Universe is Conspiring to Support You.
Mm. Thanks.
What a great title. The Moment of Lift, as you're talking about facelifts and lifting yourself up out of this old power person dynamic. It's like,
that's unbelievable.
How perfect.
It's the universe has such a sense of humor.
Yeah. And the subtitle of the book, I believe, is How Empowering Women Changes the World.
I think it's something like that. I can't see it from where I'm sitting. But, yeah Melinda Gates. Right.
How Empowering Women Changes the World.
I'm telling you, Michael, this is weird. What an affirmation.
It doesn't get better than that, just dropping off the shelf. I remember several years ago, I had somebody who'd been at some workshops and done some work and then kind of, just forgot about it and went off trailing somewhere else. And I was literally 10 years later, and she called in this panic of, when's your next intensive? I need to get to intensive. It's like, well, whoa, slow down. What's happening? I did your workshops back 10 years ago. You probably don't remember me, but, and then I haven't looked at the tools, and I'm in a major crisis. I got all this stuff going on in my life, and my husband's doing this, and my kids are doing that. And I walked in the room, and your book fell off the bookshelf and hit me in the head. It's like, and I need to get to a workshop. I realize that.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
So I stand in the space where you, along with all women, especially those who've been beaten down or abused by their power person, become empowered and change the world. We need women to change the world. The knuckleheads running it now on the male side of things, the patriarchs, aren't likely to make any big shifts soon unless the women step in and shift the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to do it on the inside before you can move it on to the outside.
Right. You know that song, Keb Mo's Put a Woman in Charge? You've got to know that song.
Mm-hmm.
It just popped into my head.
It's time.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
you, Michael.
It's time for healing across the board here. I'm looking at the back cover of the book right now. It says, this book is an urgent manifesto for an equal society where women are valued and recognized in all spheres of life. We need this message now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
What a message.
Yeah.
So we're here holding the space with you.
And Susan, I just got a text from Anne, who was in our class, and she said, just a reminder, Susan has community. And Anne says she's been breathing and processing with you ever since you were first talking with Dr. Tim.
Oh, tell her. Thank
Sweet.
you so much. Thank you. Tell her thank you so much. She's one Mitch.
And as for the cat coming in and getting on your lap, animals tap into the energy that sometimes people don't even recognize themselves, and they know, and they come to either be part of the energy or to comfort you in it.
Yeah. He's an amazing kitty. I've got two amazing kitties, but he shows up a lot. Talks to me. So.
And I'm looking at information about Melinda right now, and one of her other books is The Mother and Child Project, Raising Our Voices for Health and Hope.
Mm.
Another of her books is The Moment of Lift, Invisible Women.
That's the one.
Women don't owe you pretty. And I'd support you doing the work in your mom's stead as well, because it sounds like she was the recipient of the same withholds of approval about self.
Mm-hmm. She was. She was. And your work at the workshop has brought open so much awareness about my power person, who was my mother. And everything she did that was on the negative side was out of the pain she was in, which was unimaginable. It was just unimaginable. So much self-denial, surely rage, disappointment, frustration, grief. She lost a baby sister.
Nothing you recognize in any of those emotions, though, right?
Oh, right. I thought of Jeanie because my mom had a baby sister that was born and didn't last more than 72 hours. And my mother used to go and hide in the closet because people didn't cry. You know, for me to cry on the radio show is really a big win, Michael. My mother hid when she cried. She hid, and she told me that's how she used to hide in the closet and cry because she was an only child and had no sibling, and particularly this sister. She wanted that sister so much. And she told me that, but my mom was terrified to cry in front of anybody and only cried under great duress twice in my memory, and hid herself in abject shame when she did it. And so you've opened a lot of that. I know I've cried a lot on your show in spite of the fact that there are people listening. Holy mackerel, is that breaking a script right there? Anyway.
Yeah.
And the way, the amount, the depths with which I adored my mother and wanted so badly to heal her and help her and comfort her and fix her and all the whole thing translated into so many unhealthy relationships with women where I would just fall in love with them with this terrible urgency to help. But I couldn't help. I would choose the ones who wouldn't be helped because my mother wouldn't be helped. It was just, this power person thing has just opened up cycles of realization about all the hidden dynamics between my mother and me and the rest of us. And so doing a worksheet with my mother, I've written letters. You've told me to write a letter from my mother to me. It doesn't get to the depths I need, and it's getting there now. I can feel it. I knew what she would like to say, but it's all on a mental level. It's not on this level. This level has gotten there finally.
Yeah.
This is the moment of lift. It really is.
Yeah. 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 And, you know, we've got to be powerful enough. We've got to be vital enough. We've got to be solvent in our physiology in order to get to that level, to touch it. That's why, you know, we're doing all aspects of the work. That's why we're suggesting people eat real food, you know, fresh and raw as much as possible, you know, because that's all part of being able to open up to this level of process.
Right. I can see that. I can see that and I can feel that. And there has been a great increase in vitality, you know, just during these retreats, being able to bore down into stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I'm suggesting that as soon as we finish, get your hand in the avicen, breathe, and while you're in this state, that will support it opening further, deeper, and more profoundly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
What an awesome, sweet piece of work to do. Angels in heaven are applauding. And I bet your mom is too.
I hope so. It's the only way I've been able to help is after she died.
And
Actually,
what's the
that's
thought
not
behind
true.
that one? That's another worksheet. Yeah, right.
I know, and it's not true. I just realized that's not true. She lived with us for the last 3 years of her life, and we had a great time. And I was able to carry her around, lift her, play with her, feed her. It was great. So a lot of that did happen, I think.
Yeah, it sounds
we
like
never
it.
talked about anything, though. We never talked about
Right.
anything, but we sort of did it.
So here you are at the next level. That's awesome.
Thanks, Michael.
And we know that you're at least taking Anne with you. And Jeanie and I have been processing around her mom the last day or two, so I suspect that probably this is opening a space for Jeanie. Jeanie, do you have anything to share?
I've just been breathing, though. I need to go back and re-listen to what I had to say when I was still point breathing because I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, just to plug it in this space of vitality, and this may trigger another possibility for you, Susan, was that yesterday Jeanie was in process with stuff around Mom, and she was out doing some errands and had Dad to the doctor, and I was home creating dinner. And one of the things that happened after Jeanie's mom passed was that she found some of her journals and her prayers for healing.
Aww.
And the guidance I had was to suggest that Jeanie dig those books out and read through those prayers, because those prayers, I guarantee, are power person prayers. They're your prayers. And it'll open things on a whole other level.
Wow. Jeanie, do you feel courageous enough to read them?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'll find them. I'll pull them out.
And I'll be right there with you, sweetie. In fact, if you'd like, I'll read them to you. While you breathe.
If there's anything you want to share that you might think is applicable, I would love to hear them. If that's okay.
Sure.
My mother didn't go there. She didn't write prayers. She was an atheist. Not really. I mean, at the end of her life, she looked at a little flower and said, "Boy, how did this happen?"
But did she ever write any journals? Is there any of her writing around where she might have confessed to herself what she needed to deal with?
No, but she wrote letters to us, which I saved in a huge folder, and it took me years before I could read them. But because of your retreat, I got around to reading them. And they were full of how much she loved us. Full, not regrets about how she had treated us, but full of how much she worried about us and thought about us and admired us, was so proud of us. They were just full of them. This was all, just amazing to read.
Yeah.
She was afraid of her life, afraid of most things, and yet gutsy. But I don't need to go into all that. It's just, she's very much on my mind these days because she was my big, big, big power person. He was this tiny little 90-pound mother. Powerful as heck.
So holding the space for everything that's ready to open in that regard. Sweetheart, do you have anything to share?
Are you talking to me or Jeanie?
Jeanie? I promise I won't. I may call you young lady, but I won't call you sweetheart, Susan. Okay. Sweet. All right. Well, breathing with everybody. Anne, I get that you're getting some vicarious healing here, opening the space. So Joining each and every one in deep, full, vitalizing breaths, and embracing mothers in conscious, active, present love, and the parts of ourselves that have bounced off of the power person dynamics, with them getting safe enough to bring those pieces forward and forgive them, remove them. So any other thoughts for you, Susan?
Only that the fact that my mother had to work so hard on her face to make it acceptable is, I'm just realizing that's the voice in my head when I'm looking in the mirror, because I've never had a facelift, and I think to myself, I should have a facelift, but I'm not going to do it. But I've got all those thoughts in there from my mom. And yet, on the other hand, how much I love seeing the untouched face of an older woman who's just let herself grow into her face. How beautiful that seems to me.
Mm-hmm.
All of it,
yeah.
wrinkles and
so
folds.
So sneak up on yourself every day. Sneak up on yourself every day and realize that's you you're talking about.
Yeah,
and
I gotta
maybe,
let it rip.
Yeah, maybe you could even whisper that in Mom's ear. Invite her to sneak up on herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we'll be holding the space, especially as you breathe and listen to that song that I sent you.
Thanks, Michael. I'll play it when I stick my hands back in that Avicen. I already had it in already today twice.
Awesome. Well, I've had mine in for the whole hour, so rock and roll.
Wow. Good for you. You don't get gangrene from it, I trust.
We're rocking. All right.
Good.
You have a blessed rest of the day, and tell Tim we said hello and give him a hug for us.
Well, thanks, Michael. Thanks, Jeanie.
All right.
Wow,
well,
that was powerful.
We're down to about, still breathing. Yeah.
And we have another hand up.
Well, let's go for it.
Area code 813. I think this is Kathy Klein.
Hey, Kathy. Are you with us?
We're getting a little bit
Hello,
of
Kathy. Sounds like maybe she stepped away from the phone for a minute or something. Somebody just are there any other hands up?
No, there's not. Maybe announce about Sunday. And I do have that in the notes for today.
Great, yes. Yeah, on Sunday, I'm going to be doing a Sunday service at 10:30. If you'd like to join us for that, it will be at Unity of
Unity of Blue Water
in
Huron.
Port Huron, Michigan. Or Huron, Michigan, yeah. So if you want to join us, if you go to their homepage on Facebook, then you'll be able to join us live for that service.
I put a link to that in the notes for today too, and we'll put it out on their Facebook pages as well. And we did have a hand up. A hand just went up. 651. You're on the air.
Hi, Jeanie. Hi, Michael. It's June.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey.
What's on your mind today? How can we support you?
Well, I was doing a worksheet before I called into the show, and there's not a lot of time to go into a lot of it. I decided I wanted to do one around the past. It seems like a lot of grief centers around my husband and how he treated me once he started drinking a lot. And, I don't try to decide what I want to bring up from it. I guess the first thing was when writing the thoughts for my worksheet, my thought that I wrote was, my story was that he no longer gives me attention and affection, and my thought was, I can't live with his hostility and neglect, but I don't want to give up. And I thought, well, can we have that's like two thoughts, but that's part of the problem, is that divided mind. I want this, I don't want this. Do you have any suggestions about that?
Absolutely. Each thought that generates some form of hostility or fear is a different thought disorder, and therefore a different worksheet to do. So as you recognize that.
I can't live with his hostility, neglect in a different worksheet, but I don't want to give up.
So one worksheet would be the desire for him to be loving, gentle, and respectful.
Mm-hmm.
And the other, I suspect, the goal linked from what you've said and the processing we've done in the past, I would suspect that the goal would probably be to perhaps be powerful enough to impact him, attractive enough to draw him back into sanity.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at it quite that way, but the goal was that he behave the way he used to, with affection and attention.
Yeah.
And I realized, wow, part of what's up around that is the recognition, something's terribly wrong with him. Something's really gone awry, and I didn't particularly. It was more of the recognition, something's wrong there. I didn't think it was so much about me. Maybe in some ways I did, but underneath, but not really. Mostly I was trying to be understanding of him, but you're right. When you said powerful enough, it's I wanted to be powerful enough to convince him to get better. And perhaps to okay, change back the way you were, because then I'll know that you're okay, rather than that something's really, really massively wrong with you that I can't control. And how frightening that is.
Yeah. And so there's one of your key words, something I can't control.
Right.
So there's probably one of your 77 times 70 worksheet issues, and you ask yourself the question, how did it feel when your power person controlled you?
Yeah, and I haven't worked on that one. That's a good one. And I can't offhand think of an instance of that, but I'm sure it happened. Yeah.
Of which?
That I was controlled by my power person. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can measure that by how often, if you look around at your life, you've tried to control.
Wow, okay. So that all comes from having been controlled, you're saying?
Yes. It's replicating the power person dynamic. Everything that comes from hostility or fear, everything that runs the world based in hostility or fear is right square out of the power person dynamic. And the people that are in the most trouble are people who believe they don't have a power person or a power person dynamic to deal with.
Right. Yeah, and the feeling at the top of the worksheet was discouraged, which doesn't seem to relate directly to hostility or fear, but discouraged is something that I feel a lot lately.
Well, I would suggest that discouraged is a reflection of fear. If I could just control this, I could fix this, then everything would be all right. But here it is, it's going to fall apart because I'm afraid it's going to fall apart because I can't control it.
Okay.
So now that I don't have the power to control it, it's going to fall apart. Now I'm going to get hurt. I have fear.
So power person worksheets will help to dismantle that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's interesting, the topic, and you might want to make the space to join us on Sunday for the service at Unity in Blue Water, Port Huron. The topic is the ultimate Trojan horse.
Oh.
And the subtitle is, and what you can do about war, death, decay, and suffering.
That sounds good. Is that are they on Eastern time, Michael?
Yes, 10:30 Eastern time. Yeah, everything that we quote on the show will always be Eastern time, unless it's, if we've got some other time zone, we'll do that. But yeah, it's always Eastern time.
Okay.
So it's Unity of Blue Water in Port Huron, Michigan, at 10:30 Eastern time on Sunday on Facebook Live process.
All right, very good. So one more question, since we have a little bit of time. As I was doing the worksheet, when I got down to number 4, I choose love, my essence. I thought, I've done these worksheets so many times, and that always seems easy. It's like, oh, sure, I choose love. That's great. I know the rose and butterfly story. But at the moment of doing this, I thought, what does that mean? Back then, I felt like I was choosing love in trying to be understanding of my husband and trying to really to show him as much love and understanding as I could. But, of course, I wasn't being very loving to myself.
And none of that has anything to do with love.
Right. So I thought maybe you could speak a little bit more about when we say, I choose love, my essence. How do we do that? What does that mean?
Well, if we were at an intensive, right now I'd be picking a marker off of my lectern, and I'd be turning it around. And the sentence I'd be writing on the board, right?
All of the above?
All of the above. It's the only thing. If you go back to 10 years of radio shows, 5 days a week for 10 years now in the archives, and listen from day one on, you'll never hear me answer anything except that question. It's every tool we've got. It's every thought, every correction, every piece that needs to be healed.
Yeah. Which doesn't, I think the hard part is, it's like, how do I fit that into a small moment in time as I do the worksheet? It's like, okay. All the above.
Yeah. When you realize that time is just a way of measuring events, and we've got 1,000 unresolved events and 1,000 generations of unresolved events in our minds, it would appear is what opens the energy window to dissolve time. And when I realized all those things I said about wanting to be loving and caring and all of that, caring, that's a wonderful thing. But the key is that love isn't something we do. It's not a verb. You can't love anybody. Nobody can love you. Nobody ever has and nobody ever will. Because love is a state of being. It's a noun. It's not a verb. It's what we are. And we've been so displaced from what we are by these power person dynamics, by the energetic patterns that we bought into in the power person dynamic, the hostility, the fear, the rage, the guilt, the grief, the self-deprecation, that most people haven't been visited by their essential nature, the presence of love, ever in their lives that they can remember. Well, you see, I have this list. If you do this list, then we'll know that you love me. And you know what? You could take a list that includes absolutely every possible service and, way of supporting that you can possibly get, and you could fulfill all of those things, and there still wouldn't be love. Love only comes when we wake up to who we are and realize who we are and make ourselves real in this moment. And the thing that inhibits that is these power person dynamic realities that are generated by the mind that say, oh no, this, oh no, oh what about this, well what about that? And all of that noise, the whole idea of forgiveness is to quiet that noise, to still that mind. Literally, you've heard me say it many times. To heal, you've got to be out of your mind. You don't find love in your mind. You find love when you get out of your mind. Because the mind can't figure it out, can't pretend it, can't do enough to be it. You can take a list of, go back to Yeshua and look at everything he did throughout his whole life, everything wonderful that he did, and make a list of it and do every one of those things. And that won't mean there's love present. It'll just be the non-being mind trying to figure out how to make it look like love. And that thing's got to be collapsed. And that's when love shows up. So I'm breathing with you.
Yeah, I can feel that. Like I can see another way of saying it would be instead of I choose love is good, but I might say I remind myself that love is my essence.
Yeah.
And rest in that. Drop all the mind data and rest in that knowing that. And I don't mean knowing the way we know from mind, but knowing. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll hold the space. Thank you for your questions and your input. I think on top of what we've been doing already, that has opened a whole other space again on top of what Susan was processing. Again, 10:30 Sunday, Facebook, Unity of I'm so used to calling
Blue
it Unity of Port Huron.
Blue Waters.
Blue Water. The ultimate Trojan horse. And what you can do about war, death, decay, and suffering. Join us at 10 on Sunday. Blessings.